Another big fight happening. We had Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. Now, I know you're not the biggest UFC fan, but I recommend it. Hey, watch it. Because these are two very popular guys in the UFC. During their heyday, they were very popular. They had one fight in the UFC. This was back in 2000, I think 18 or 19, and they had a fight for the BMF title. This was some made up title by Dana White, and The Rock was the one to give the winner the belt. But they had a fight, and Jorge Masvidal won the fight due to ref stoppage because Nate had a cut. It's a very entertaining fight, whatever. And then now they had the rematch in boxing, and you kind of being like the outsider of the UFC, but it's still boxing, which is your expertise. How did you feel about the fight?
Well, I did catch the fight, so I did watch it. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I like the fight. It obviously didn't seem like two boxers in the ring, but it was entertaining. Like Nate Diaz, he's trying to please the fan. He did the antics, looking at the fan, looking away, hit him a 1-2.
Yeah.
It was always action in the fight. Um, it seemed like he was just trying to give the fans something very entertaining. He was willing to take some punches, to give some punches. It was very refreshing after seeing the Shakur Stevenson fight. So it was like, oh yeah, okay, this made me feel a little bit better about wasting the time. But yeah, I feel like it was a cool fight. I like the undercard of it. Um, it was cool. Like Nate he did his thing. I feel like Nate did win. He just I mean it's not he both of them are not boxers, so I
Yeah.
mean dude did lay some real clean, effective punching. And Nate did too here sometimes, but Nate was just a lot busier. Like he was
Yeah.
just touching them all the time. And it was dope. It was cool. It was cool.
Right. Right. Now, I got to be honest with you guys. Yes, I saw Snooze Core Sleepington fight. I was hyping AP about this fight, Nate Diaz and Jorge, because if you guys saw the press conference, they got into a big brawl at the first press conference. Like Nate's team and Jorge's team, they got into a big old brawl. Jorge's coach, got into it. He got in a scuffle. Then at the next press conference, this little nerd Neon, I can't say the words I want to say because we're trying to get monetized here. But Neon, asked Nate Diaz some stupid questions, and Nate's team almost jumped Neon. They chased him. They was going to jump him, but yeah, I got to be honest. I didn't catch it, man. I was busy helping my friend shoot a music video, and I missed it. And it sucks because I really want to talk about it. But a lot of people were saying that Nate was robbed. I mean, I'm sorry, that Jorge was robbed of the fight. But I'm going to watch it for myself, and I maybe if y'all want, I can come with a video on it. But I think it's entertaining. So one thing I want to ask, like,
Yeah, I'm saying
yeah, how do you feel about now? How do you feel about this wave of like, UFC fighters getting into boxing in this avenue? How do you feel about all that?
well, first, a robbery, we had to stop using that so lightly. Like, if it's a close fight and it goes either way, I mean, I don't look at it as a robbery. Like the fight was not like clearly somebody won.
Yeah,
It was just not like that.
right.
So, but UFC fighters going to boxing, I just feel like they need some money. Like they don't get paid as much in UFC.
No.
But also like it gives you it's like boxing has been stepping up. We've been having some good fights, but we have sometimes like snooze fests, it's like what Shakur did, and it does give you refreshing, like to see somebody just beat the shit out of each other. I
Yeah,
didn't mean to say that, but it's
yeah,
just what it is. It's just like they just fight. There's no orthodox. They're just throwing punches. You know the names, and it's some entertainment. Like the one thing I can say is that the new people getting into boxing, like these boxers need to like look and see like, yo, these people are making stuff entertaining.
yeah,
Like they're bringing spotlight to boxing, but they also taking away from boxers because boxers are not going to get the high paydays they want anymore, and these new people are going to get the high paydays, and you're just going to be on the undercard because you don't understand the entertainment factor. You just feel like, oh, I can just box and I can win the fight. I'm frustrated
right.
about that. I really am. I'm frustrated about boxers thinking it's okay to take it to the scorecards. That's just crazy to me. Like, if I'm better than somebody, and that's just me, my mentality
Mm,
is like, yo, I'm gonna beat you down. And if it goes to scorecard, it does, but I ain't trying to go there.
right.
That's what, and I feel like that's what UFC fighters do, and every other people that's trying to box. I'm just gonna take you out before then.
Yeah.
And boxers don't think that way. They just
Right.
like, oh well, I was in comfortable lead, and
The
that's what
thing,
happened to old Jackie Foster.
yeah. The thing with just leaving it to the scorecards, you never know what the judge, that's the last thing you want to do is leave it to the judges because you don't know what's going to happen. And as far as like the UFC, as I was always mentioned, the difference between like the UFC and boxing, in the UFC, if even if you lose, you're still a fan favorite if you put on a performance. I can't tell you how many times Nate Diaz has lost, but Nate Diaz is one of the most beloved fighters because at the end of the day, as you saw, he puts on a show. That dude is well loved and this dude can get his butt kicked so many times, but people still rock with him. So Nate Diaz and Jorge, they are two fan favorites in the UFC, two very entertaining guys. Jorge Masvidal holds the fastest knockout in the UFC with a flying knee against Ben Askren in like I think 4 seconds. So these are two entertaining guys. So take notes. The only reason that the UFC is not making the same money as boxing is because in boxing the money goes to all the top guys, whereas in UFC the money is spread out. And I don't blame the UFC guys for wanting that big payday. They have the name for it, so why not monetize that and go to a sport where you could train, you could do because you have training in that aspect. So yeah, these boxers got to step it up because you got these YouTubers and influencers and former MMA fighters, and at the end of the day, if you can market yourself, then that's what it's about, marketing.
Yeah, because people want to be entertained. Like that's the whole point. We watch is for entertainment. And the thing is that's what I like about how the UFC is coming in is because they're trying to entertain us.
Mhm.
Boxers, I think they're forgetting that. Like they got comfortable with these paydays that Floyd Mayweather opened up for you to get a higher raise.
Yeah,
But the thing is that you're not entertaining, so that money's going to be taken away soon. Like fighters not going to get paid the same no more because you're doing it. Like even or Jackie Foster who got robbed, the same night as that UFC fight, he was okay. Like I thought I did enough, and then I was going to the boxing. He did win. He got robbed, but the thing is with UFC fighters like Nate Diaz and all them, they're trying to hurt each other. They're trying to put some like that's what I like, man. And
yeah,
this is the crazy mentality. It's like the thing is I ain't gonna let nobody beat up on me, and
yeah.
I'm gonna sit there for 12 rounds to get beat up on. Like that don't
Right.
make sense. I'm gonna knock you out before I get out here. Like it don't make sense, and it's just crazy, man.
Yeah,
But yeah, that fight was a good fight though.
yeah,
Even they had the Ryan Garcia's brother and uh Ryan Garcia's brother fought Vargas's son.
yeah.
They fought on the order card, and Ryan Garcia's brother got knocked out with a body and stuff like that. So that was cool too. Um,
Then Danny Jacobs, my man Danny Jacobs, um, and Shane Mosley Jr. That was like I said, I'm gonna catch that. I've been a fan of Danny Jacobs. I've been a big fan of
I
him
didn't
for
see
a
that.
while. Okay, yeah, but Shane Mosley Jr.
Who
He
won?
won. Mosley Jr.
Shane Lowe did it won.
Yeah, he won.
Oh, Danny
Yeah,
Jacob falling. No, he getting old.
yeah, he getting
He,
old,
it
man.
was a knockout.
I need to check. I need to check.
Okay,
I'm just
but
mad I missed all of it, man. Like I that was what I wanted to see, and I got freaking busy, man. I'm gonna catch all that
yeah,
later.
I
Yeah.
was more on the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
boxing
My
side.
goal, man, I'm gonna put audience. My goal is to get AP into UFC. That's my goal. I gotta get you in the
Yeah,
UFC. When the big fights come on,
I
man,
will. I would.
it's
But the thing is, like
fighting.
UFC.
And you should
Yeah,
like
I know. I'm
it.
saying I would. UFC. The thing about UFC, I do like that now because they changed their rules about like they don't get as much point for like the grappling part.
Yeah,
So that's why there's more like punching now. And boxing went left and they added these rules. Cause have you not seen like boxing back in the day? They used to throw a lot more punches, it was a lot faster because it was only about who landed the most punches.
yeah.
So they had to fight.
You saw the same YouTube
Now
video
it's
I saw. Did you send me that video? I saw the video you're talking about.
So now it's different.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's all this ring generalship and all that, and they should
Yeah.
take that out and go back to the past. And
Yeah.
UFC, because UFC is making changes to make it better.